Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. The High Holy Days are quickly approaching, and everyone here at the temple is getting ready, and we can't wait to see everyone for our family reunion. Already in preparation, we have Shabbat services this Friday night at 7, and at that service, I'm going to be doing a High Holy Day workshop and talking about some of the major themes of the High Holy Days as Mary plays some of the High Holy Day music and melodies. And then Saturday night we have Slichot, which begins at 7, but I'll say more about that toward the end of this video. I know for sure that on Friday night I'm going to talk about Kol Nidre and the impact that has on us. A very emotional connection and appeal. We come, we listen to the Kol Nidre chant by the cantor, and this year again by a cellist, a professional cellist. And it reminds us that this is truly a time of looking inward and introspection and self-examination and the possibility of change. But a word about Kol Nidre itself. Perhaps you are not aware that as beautiful as it is, it's not really a song, it's not a hymn, it's not even a prayer, it's not a meditation. It is a legalistic formula. Kol Nidre literally means all vows. And it's in the future tense. And if you read the fine print, it says all vows that I will make in the future during the coming year are null and void. What? How is that possible? All vows that I make, all promises? Actually, you have to understand the history of this Kol Nidre. It goes back probably to 14th century Spain, where Jews were forced to convert to Christianity, and they had no choice about it, but many practiced Judaism in secret and tried to keep it alive for the next generation and even the generation after that. But after a while, the family lost the connection to their Jewishness. It was actually forgotten, but sometimes some of the rituals did persist. The Reform movement actually did not like the wording of Kol Nidre so much, so they really emphasized the melody without the words. I say all of this because I want to show you something which is part of my collection. Many of you know I collect dreidels, but I have 2 dolls in my collection as well, and this is one of them. And Peggy and I were out west several years ago, and we actually were in New Mexico, and there was a gift shop there, and we're looking at the window, and I notice all of these little caricatures, these ceramic dolls. They started off actually at one corner of the window. They seem to be Christian dolls with crosses and maybe a Jesus figure and on and on. And then all of a sudden it transitioned to definitely Jewish figurines, like this one with a talit, with a kippah, all with their mouths wide open. That seems to be a characteristic of all of these. And I had to rush into the store, and I had to take one of these, buy one of these, and turned it over, and I saw that the artist making these Jewish figurines and Christian figurines, his name is Juan Sandoval. So I asked about him, and how could I contact him to learn why is he creating these dolls. And I did make a connection with him, and he told me that several years prior, researchers from New York came by and visited him and said, Mr. Sandoval, do you know that your name Sandoval is a Jewish name, a very long history with this family. They originated in Spain and Portugal, and it's possible that you might be one of the Jews, secret Jews, that had to hide their Judaism. He said, well, that's impossible because my parents are Catholic, and my grandparents are Catholic, and we're a Catholic family, and I know nothing about Judaism. They said, well, are there any rituals or customs that you might carry out that you might think are unique to your family? He said, I can't think of too many, except I will tell you on Friday night, we do light 2 candles. I mean, that's all we do. We light 2 candles. And generally, we do not mix milk and meat. Fast forward, it turns out that, Juan Sandoval, his family, they were conversos, and he began studying Judaism, and he started making these figurines, and he and his ancestors might have recited Kol Nidre, saying all vows are null and void. I will tell you on Friday night what happened to Juan Sandoval. And I will show you another figurine which makes that very clear. So either you come Friday night or maybe next week's video. Either way. In any case, Saturday night we have Slichot. And Slichot begins at 7 with Havdalah and a potluck dinner, and we supply the Israeli wine, and you have your choice of white or red. And then we are going to see parts of Sliding Doors. It's a fantastic movie that raises some real serious questions at this time of the year. And then we're going to break out into discussion about the movie. We're going to have dessert, of course, and then our Slichot service right here in this chapel, beginning at 10 to 11, where we will, for the first time, put on the ornaments and the mantle for High Holy Days. This is one of the original Temple Emmanuel breastplates with the 10 Commandments. These are 2 very old crowns. And then we will also, with your help, put on the first white mantle on the Torahs, and this one has a symbol of the shofar, shofarot, another name for Rosh Hashanah, the day of sounding the horn. So please join us Friday, Saturday evening, as we welcome Shabbat and prepare for the High Holy Days. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos.